Michele Packard, welcome to the Rocky Mountain Writer Podcast.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet, and congratulations, a brand new novel.
I know, it's exciting.
Yeah, number 4, if I'm counting correctly, is that
it's
right?
number 4 in this series. Yes, it is.
And it just came out in late December.
You know what? I did. I probably might hesitate on doing that in the future, balancing a holiday with a book launch. But I wanted to have it as a Christmas gift to give to my dad, and I wanted to be able to submit for 2021 awards. So I had to have it out before the end of the year. But going forward, I might rethink that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting choice there because you don't want to miss or wait another 12 months to submit for award cycles, but you also just have a big crush of stuff to do in December mostly. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So, well, we'll get into your writing career and what brought you to this point, but let's stick with the excitement here. And the new book is called CounterIntelligence, and as I gather, it follows some of the characters from an earlier trilogy, but it doesn't look like it's branded the same way as the trilogy.
No, it's not. You know what? And I got a little bit of not flack, but I had the wonderful group that does my covers. They're like, well, don't you want to have it the same? I was like, no, this is a new adventure. It's a continuation, but it's something new too. So it was thoughtful in its intent to make it look a little bit different.
Well, give us a setup, either if you want to start with the trilogy and tell us about that in order to set up what's in the new, what's different about the new book, or you can just start with CounterIntelligence and tell us about that.
You know, I'll probably start from the beginning.
Okay.
When I started this, it was really just taking what I saw on the news, or if I was in a Peloton class, or what I heard on the radio, incorporating it into a thriller mystery. And I read growing up James Patterson, Stuart Woods, Lee Childs, all these great authors that had these great, male protagonists that had patriotic, unlimited resources. And so I kind of took from the greats and did that with my own spin with a female protagonist, and then incorporating small aspects of current and historical events. So interwoven through all of it, and like CounterIntelligence is about a virus. Now it doesn't say COVID, but it's implied it's a virus, and just kind of talking about the conspiracies that everybody thinks about when they're talking about this event. So that's why it's completely different, but it's also new. And going forward, that's the best part about this series. It writes itself almost. It's whatever the next thing that happens that's promoted on the news or in real life, and so it's kind of exciting that way.
So CounterIntelligence, just set it up a little bit more for us. Where does it take place? What impact does the virus have in that particular situation?
Yeah. Well, you find out in the trilogy that the main character, Maddie Baker, is actually genetically created by the government, and she herself is a virus in the making, to be almost like a superhero. So when this new virus comes into play, you'll actually see that she follows kind of how it did, where it started off here in Colorado when Vail had all kinds of cases coming up with COVID. So it follows her from Colorado to Texas. She'll go to D.C. because a lot of it is about the different internal agencies, United States agencies, whether it be the CIA, the FDA, the TSA, anything with an A. So it travels all around, following her pursuit to figure out where did this actually get launched from, and who's really behind it, and is the United States actually culpable in their efforts with this? So
yeah, wow. How far into the pandemic did you start working on this, or maybe you started even before?
Well, it kind of led into it because then the trilogy where she's talking about that she is a government-created virus, and then this virus came up. And I actually talked about the virus way before the COVID, but it, unbeknownst to be it, it's just one of those fluke things. So it kind of just is a continuation. It wasn't one of those things where I thought, oh, this is something new. It was more of a, hey, this ties in nicely with what I'd been writing beforehand. So.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
It's been fun.
So once the pandemic, it sounds like the pandemic did not affect your output in terms of creativity.
No, it helped it a little bit.
Yeah. So tell us about your own background. You bring some special background to writing about this this territory.
Well, a little bit. I came from a big military family. My grandfather was, in the Army. My dad was in the Army. My brothers were in the Air Force. My own son's in Space Force. So between what I read growing up and just between our conversations being in a military family, I do parlay a lot of that into my writing. So it's definitely, I've taken aspects of things that I've heard or things that I've, witnessed and try to incorporate that into the books as well. So, yeah. How
do you go about that?
Very selectively. No, it's just like everything else. I mean, I think with any writer, you research what topic is, and how does that, is it a viable point or is it not? And of course, everybody has their own, I guess, subjective opinion on what it's for. So, yeah.
When you finish a draft, do you have a process for showing it to folks in the military or in government agencies?
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, you know what's funny? My son, who's in Space Force, he's probably been my biggest, I call him my politically correct fact checker. He's my weapons checker. And he's like, oh, Mom, you can't do that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can. I was like, that's the best part about it. It's a fiction book. And he's like, oh, no. But I've been lucky that I've met a bunch of great writers, and they're in sci-fi, romance, and different genres. And I send it to them, too, and say, hey, what do you think? Is there, big, holes here, or do you think this? And I don't think this is for everybody, but I think, I try to keep it lighthearted. It's not just the conspiracy theory. The main character's got the human element, too. So she's a little humorous. She's a little sarcastic. And she's also going to do whatever she can to protect her family. So, and she considers family not just her immediate family, but America. So, so I have a nice little group that I'm able to bounce it off and say, hey, what do you think? And give me your ideas. So,
yeah,
I've been very blessed.
When did you start writing fiction?
You know what? I started right after my twins went to college. And I thought, I'm going to have a little bit more time on my hands. And I thought, do I go back to work? I had been working for, several years. And I thought, I'm really, out of date. Or am I going to do something that I want to do, that I enjoy? And I wouldn't consider myself... I wish I was an incredible grammatically correct writer, and I'm not. I wish I had that ability. I still have to look up every time, like, where do I put this? Where does this go? I write more like how I speak. So it's, some people will really, appreciate that, and some people will go, oh, I can't believe she just did that. So I just started writing a story, and I thought, this was something fun that I was enjoying. And the first book actually was pretty quick to write. And I thought, but I had no idea what I was doing, right? I wrote a book, I threw a cover on it, thought, I could self-publish it. And it wasn't until probably the next 18 months that you learn about some of the nuances of book writing, how to format it, what a cover does, what it takes for reviews. All those little things that you find out, the recruiting for publishers and agents and the marketing of it. The book writing is actually just a small portion of it. Kind of it's just been a learning process through the way. And I've luckily met incredible people that have helped me out to do it. So some are in the same boat, and some are traditionally published, and some are like me, self-published. So I just did it for fun. So, and I enjoyed it.
Did that first effort turn into that first novel, Aesop?
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, and after that, I thought, okay, well, she kind of ends on a note here that just leads to the second book. So then I jumped right into that. And again, I was still learning as I was going. And I've made quite a few changes and going back into them and kind of, redefining things. But I'm getting there.
So tell us about the three. It's really pretty cool the way you've got the trilogy set up.
Yeah.
With those simple titles,
well,
Aesop, Fable, and Teller, right?
Yeah. But you know what's so funny? The reason why it's titled that, and every book has little, like I'm talking minute aspects of my own personal life. And that's what my kids call me. Oh, Mom, you're such an Aesop fable teller. You're the only person I know that can say the potato was this big. They're like, you always exaggerate. It's always, I'm like, I do not. So that's how I got the title. And it kind of alludes to it at the first book. And then you realize by the third book, you're starting to wonder, what is fact and what is fiction? So.
Wow. And they look great. They look great because it just looks like it's all together in those three bold words.
Well, and I tell you what, we that was one of those learning experiences. The very first original book cover I did myself, through Kindle, and part of the cover, and I thought it was just great. It was the first scene of Aesop where she's walking through this trail, and it's a scene that I saw every day through my window of my office. So to me, that was part of it, then again, what is real and what is fiction, So I thought it was very clever, but it wasn't catching, And that's one of those things that I kind of learned through this process and, speaking with other writers and authors and how a book cover really, really makes a difference. So I recovered all of them, reformatted them, and I really enjoy the Platform House Publishing, what they did to make that look. So they did a great job.
Say that again, the name of the company?
It's Platform House Publishing, and they're based out of the UK. And I found them through another author on Instagram. They did a movie trailer for this author, and I thought, wow, that trailer is awesome. I want that. And I contacted them for a trailer, and then they did such a great job on that. I said, okay, can you reformat my books and recover them? And they just did an incredible job because I kind of told them what I was thinking, and then they just took it and made it even better. So
that's
really
great.
Happy. Yeah.
We'll have to get the trailer and maybe put it into the video here as well.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
That's great. That's great. So how does that work? You send them. Do they do the formatting of your books as well?
Well, they did.
Okay.
Yeah. So I sent them, and I said, "Hey, here's who I want to mimic. I love Brad Thor. I'm like, see how his books do this? Make it something similar. I want to be in the same genre, and learn from the best." So.
Yeah. Are there any particular challenges? You mentioned all these writers like James Patterson and Lee Child, of course, with very macho, kind of male-based, military, big, bold, Jack Reacher, ex-military. What were the challenges of breaking in as a a female author. Some authors might have said, "Oh, I'm going to go with my initials and my last name, so it's not obvious it's a female author."
Yeah.
And I might have not. Well, you've got a female protagonist, so that's very obvious. Did you have any struggles with that, or get any pushback from readers?
You know what?
Or?
That was a very good observation, and something I didn't think about till after the fact. My initial target was men, I would say probably 35 to 55. And my books are intentionally kept short. I want you to be able to read them on a long plane ride, a day vacation. I'm not going to write, and this was another thing I've learned with agents and publishers. I'm not going to write the 90,000, 120,000 word book. I don't want it that long. I want you to be able to think, if it's a greenhouse, I want you to envision what the greenhouse really looks like. I'll give you kind of some things, but I'm not going to go into elaborate details on it. But it was really meant for men. So, and I thought, if they love these books of Jack Reacher, then they might love this book even more because it has a female character. What I've come to find out is females enjoy it probably more than the men do. I think men get some of the innuendos, but I think the females think, hey, this is great. We're so glad to see that women are being portrayed in this light versus in other, circumstances. So it's been actually a nice blend. But in terms of, do I put my name on it? Should I have done the initials? I thought about it after the fact. And I thought, now, hey, this is what it is. So.
Yeah, good for you. Stand in the box. You are. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. How's the violence? Is it Lee Child-esque violence or?
You know what? Yeah, because
Jack Reacher gets a little more than a little physical.
Yeah, in some of the scenes, I would say, I'm trying to think how I word this. Some of the scenes, I think because I bring a levity of a little humor to it at the same time, or it might be, in the first book, she's getting beat up left and right, but I also make it almost comedic because I would tie it into, I'm trying to think of a good show, The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. So, you kind of think, where is this going? And then you realize, hey, she's going to make it through. Don't worry about it. So, I would say that I don't probably go into such graphic details. You're going to have to use your imagination on some of it. So.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What about the marketing aspect? Because I noticed you got quite a few reviews on some of the earlier titles. Obviously, the one that just came out is not quite. It's only been out a few weeks at this point, correct? So,
and I tell you what, that to me was probably the biggest learning area. You think you launch a book, you have your friends and family, and they're going to, support you. And it's not that they don't support you, but I just think with most things with reviews, most people don't realize, especially with self-published authors, how important it is. And the algorithms that, Amazon does. And my books initially were launched on Barnes & Noble, Kobo, all the different sites. And I've changed it this year just to Amazon. And the efforts that it takes just on the marketing level to get people to say, hey, and then you start doubting yourself. You're like, well, maybe they're like me, because if I don't like something, I won't give it a poor review. I just won't review it. So then you think, oh, is that the reason why it's not being reviewed? Or is it just that people just get, they just get busy and they don't think about it, that, hey, this is something. My books are all going on sale next week. And I'm sending out my newsletter saying, hey, I'm putting my books on sale, but more importantly, I need you to review them. I think this would be a great series. I want it on Netflix. I want it on Hulu. This will be fun. So I need your help to get me there. So. Right.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do marketing-wise if you're self-published? What have you done?
I've submitted to BookBub every month. I do Book Adrenaline. I do Written Word, Free Booksy. I went to a great writers conference, Rocky Mountain Fiction Writers Conference this last year. And I saw how another author with the series, how they started staggering some of their marketing efforts. And I thought, oh, this is makes so much sense. Why haven't I done this before? Because it's brand new. Just learning it. So between that, newsletters, I'm probably one of the few people that's not on Facebook. So it's challenging to have to work around that because everything forces you back onto Facebook. Do Facebook ads, tie it in for Instagram. You have to be Facebook. So I have to be a little bit more creative in my ways to get out there. But if you read the book, I don't do Facebook for a reason.
Well, you're free to share your reasons here as well.
Yeah. Can't be on TikTok either. Well, actually, I'm not good at that stuff.
Yeah. So you want us to read the book to get to understand why you don't do that?
Well, it goes back into the conspiracies about just information that's being gathered from you being used in a helpful and also harmful way. So, and I really just think I'd spend too much time on it. So,
yeah. Yeah.
It's all got to be about balance.
Yeah. Well, the book promotional things you mentioned, like BookBub, which is a fantastic resource if you can get in.
Yeah, if you can get in.
Yeah. They take time to manage the application of those, and obviously they take some money if you work with one of the services that will promote you. It costs a little bit of money.
Yeah.
What's your advice to folks out there about doing that? Is it worth it?
Well, we'll see. I think of writing kind of like the real estate industry. And you going to real estate, you get your exam, you do everything, and nobody realizes how much money actually you have to put in the first couple of years to be successful. And probably my advice to any new writer is, hey, be patient and understand you're going to have to spend some money to make some money. So I think for a lot of people, just like in real estate, they'll just stop after a while because they'll think, hey, I'm writing these books and I'm not, making any money off of it. And there's also a balance too in terms of whatever your objectives is. You just want to write, or you're trying to make money, you're trying to make it a series, or you're just doing it because you enjoy doing it, So.
Yeah. So what's next? What are you working on now?
I'm working on 2 books. So, but I'm not, I wish I could say that I'm an everyday writer. I'm more of an inspirational writer. So, just like with CounterIntelligence, they'll have a next book, and I kind of need life to happen for me to write it. But then I'm going to also work on some nonfiction stuff too. So, we'll see what we can come up with. Yeah.
Care to share any more detail about the nonfiction?
Not yet.
Okay.
I got to outline it a little bit more, but hopefully to help some different organizations and share some experiences. So.
Yep. Great. Well, I have to ask, what did you think of that Rocky Mountain Fiction Writers Conference last October, I think it was?
Oh, it was great. You know what? I was so fortunate. I met some great ladies. My friend, it's so funny because she goes by Harper McDavid, but she's Mary Johnson, and she got me to go to the conference. And from there, I met a couple other ladies, and we've all just been supportive and trying to promote each other and help each other. And we're all in, similar but also different, genres. And it was great to be able to be out and see people again. And they had great sessions for beginning writers to more advanced writers. To querying agents, and so it was great. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
What is the pleasure in writing for you?
You know what? For me, I think it was creating something new. It was just it was in my head. It was creating something and bringing it to life, and I think people that know me well, they read it and they just laugh because they go, oh my God, this is so you. I was like, no, it's not. It's a fictional character. But it's just, I just find joy from, doing that. And really, I think even the bigger aspect is just meeting all the people, great people I met through this new venture. So yeah.
And if you had to say, just kind of going forward, looking back on things you've learned as you approach your next novel, once that moment of inspiration comes, what will you be doing differently? How will you approach it?
I think, timing will be a big thing in terms of launch. I think patience is needed, because sometimes we write something and we think we just got to get it out there. Sometimes you might want to reflect on it, let it sit a while, let it stew, go back and revisit. And I don't think I've probably used, I haven't done that in the past. I've been more of like, let's get it out. I think I'd probably even reach out more in terms of my beta readers to get additional input. I have had a couple wonderful readers that have read every book and reviewed it, and so I'm sending them off the CounterIntelligence right now. And that's another thing. When you get author copies, like right now with Amazon, 2 months it's taking for them to send them.
Yeah.
So, that pandemic's hitting everything.
Right.
So there's just little things, in all the nuances of all the elements, whether it be the covers or this or that. But also just to take my time and just to realize I don't have to rush something. I have the benefit where I can do it when it makes the most sense.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good advice, right? I mean, yeah. And there is a point at which you can overthink it too, where you are just, obviously there is probably no perfect book. You could probably sit and spend a day mulling over every sentence to make sure you could make it better or something like that. But at some point you just have to let it go too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, very good. Well, congratulations on all your success to date. That's fantastic.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Now I need to ask you, where is Mancos, Colorado?
Well, I will answer one question only.
Okay.
And that will be the question. Mancos, it's pronounced Mancos, not that you would know that, but Mancos is 25 miles west of Durango. Which is about 350 miles away from Denver, depending on where you are. I don't know exactly where you're based.
Yeah, I'm at Roxborough.
Roxborough.
I'm like literally in the state park. Yeah.
Right. Oh, nice. Yeah, beautiful. What a golf course there. That's a fantastic golf course.
Yeah, hole 3 behind me.
Oh, wow. Well, I've lost about 8,000 balls there. Anyway, no, we moved down here about 2.5 years ago. We're a good 6 or 7 hour drive from the Front Range. So,
okay.
Yeah. Beautiful area, though.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time today, Michele. As we wrap up, we always like to give our guests a chance to promote one other author or mention a book you just read, anything at all, just to pay it forward a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, Harper McDavid is, she wrote Zapata. She's the one that actually got me involved with the Rocky Mountain and Sisters in Crime and California Author League, come to think of it. And she's coming out with a new book. It's gone to her editor. Zapata is a great book, and so I expect big things for this next one too. But you can check her out at harpermcdavidauthor.com.
She won a Colorado Book Award or some big award.
Yep. Yeah, she did.
Yep, for Zapata. Yep, did really well. Very cool. Well, again, Michele, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast, and we will catch up with you again.
Oh, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.